not so little secret. My son Ralph is gay. He and his lover Gary live in this nice 2-bedroom condo. It might not be on the right side of the tracks, but it's what they can afford. Of course, everyone knows that homosexuals make great gobs of money, that they have money falling out there. Let's just say wallets, okay? If the bulge in the back doesn't match the bulge in the front. Gary always used to say to me, Helen, if women were half as worried about a man's size as gays were, none of us would have ever been born. You know, back in my day, we did not talk this openly about sex. It was taboo, something you did behind closed doors. Nowadays, I mean, I'll tell you something. I was watching this show on television, Network of all things, and this young man had his rear end up there for everyone to see. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I recorded it, and I was glad I did because I wanted to make sure I saw exactly what I thought I saw. And I did. I mean, I was so upset. I had my girlfriend Clarice come over to watch, and even she couldn't believe it. I mean, now she comes over every Wednesday. We haven't missed an episode since. Oh, my. Where was I? Oh, yeah, Ralph and Gary. They've been together almost, over 5 years, and they're happy. I'm really happy. Just bought a new car, 0 to 60 in only 6 seconds. In my day, cars only reach 60 on a good decline. And if you believe that, shame on you. I'm not that old, damn it. But people, they love to go fast. I mean, Ralph and Gary, not that fast. Took it nice and slow, and now they have one beautiful relationship. I mean, they love each other. They communicate, and that's what relationships need today, right? Communication. Ralph and Gary aren't afraid to be themselves with each other. You know, in these days of instant relationships, instant sex, instant pudding, it is nice to see something simmer slowly on the stove. And that's the way it should be. Life is too complicated to hurry things up. You know, first you date, do some courting, get married, and then you have a baby. Ralph and Gary's got a puppy. That's their little baby, and they love it so much. They call it Poppers, little Poppers. Well, I'm not that dumb. I know that Poppers are an amyl nitrate base inhalant used for temporary highs. But that mud isn't much of a danger, but he can cause a headache just like those Poppers can, and I should know. What? You don't think I know what I'm talking about? I am an adventurous woman. You know, I saw that they had Poppers at the adult bookstore just 3 blocks from Ralph and Gary's house. Oh, what's it called? I can't remember. It's right on the tip of my tongue. It's either Pussycat or Kitty Titty, something like that. Well, I walked in there and I put my money on the counter and I bought myself some. And when I got it home, unlike others, I inhaled. What a head rush! And that feeling, I mean, it wasn't anything like having a whole joint to yourself. I mean, it didn't last that long. It was almost like getting some skunk. You know, when you think you're getting some primo shit. I mean, oh hell. If you want a little cookie rush, then try some. But if you're in it for the long haul, a little pot is okay. A little Coke is expensive. Look at y'all looking at me like I'm crazy. Well, I just want to live my life to the fullest with no regrets. If I'm crazy because I had my nipples pierced last Thursday, then so be it. I mean, I couldn't wear a bra for 3 days, but I feel alive. Call me the bad girl if you want. The rest of my family is what you would call normal, good, me. It's hard to believe that my children are so calm. And Ralph and Gary are good boys. I mean, they really are. Don't get me wrong, they have their fights. God, some of the fights they have. This one time, Gary went to this meeting after promising to go to an important dinner party, and Ralph just let him have it. I mean, they said some nasty things to each other. They were both in tears. They should have broken up, but they didn't because the lines of communication were open. I mean, they talked it out after the yelling, and they learned that it isn't indignant to say, I'm sorry. You know, they humbled themselves to each other. I guess that's what more people need today. And more than that, people need to have a sense of humor. If my husband and I weren't able to laugh, I would have knocked him in the next week more than once. being sick. You know, Ralph came to me today and he told me that Gary was sick, and I couldn't believe it. He is such a healthy boy. But in my own ignorance, I immediately thought the worst. AIDS. It's got to be AIDS. You know, when I asked Ralph how he got it, I mean, he nearly decked me. Well, damn it, I forgot the flu was going around, and when you ask somebody, or somebody tells you that a gay person is sick, you think AIDS. I mean, we all do. Don't lie to yourself. I mean, it stemmed from some deep subconscious fear of homosexuality. I mean, even Ralph and Gary feel awkward at times. You know, one time, Ralph told me that in the middle of making love to Gary, he had to stop because it seemed so unreal. I mean, he was doing these things to this man's body that he couldn't comprehend as normal. It seemed wrong to touch him. Well, in today's society, it is unseen for men to kiss, hug, feel. They're too masculine for that sort of thing. Why? It isn't degrading to love someone. I mean, that's the highest compliment you can give a person. Whether they're of the same sex or not is not the point. You know, touch, feel, speak. When was the last time you hugged your friend? And when was the last time you touched someone, anyone, without feeling like you were intruding on his or her life? I mean, everybody's afraid to touch each other. Oh, sure, you can touch yourself and, you know, well, not like that. But, well, okay, sure, like that. I mean, it's better than just jumping into bed with someone. You know, it's the ultimate turn-on to touch. We just need to learn to touch each other with a sense of adequacy, not inadequacy. I mean, if you're strong enough to take that person to bed, then be strong enough to let them see who you really are. We're all wanting acceptance, but how can you accept someone else if you can't even accept yourself? So don't just have sex. With all those diseases out there, if you just want to have sex, then learn a form of self-service. It's easy, unless your batteries die. But we women can make allowances for that. I mean, do you think God shaped a